Live from the Ram Cave. I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the August 8th, 2022 edition. Had a little microphone thing there, but we got it worked out. I'm drinking my 2016 Rams mug that was given to me. I keep sharing this. Yeah, Gurley, Austin, Goff, and Long all gone. And that's how quick it all goes away. But NFL season's upon us. We had the NFL game last Thursday. Looking forward to this Thursday, a full slate of games. Excited about that, getting the preseason off to a good start. And again, that's the whole thing. I'll always say preseason matters. I know you're not going to see the stars, but you get to see these camp battles take place, and it'll be fun to watch. So just picking up some stuff around the NFL before we really get into some Ram content here. And again, Monday feels like, until the season starts, is you're just kind of picking up, because I'm not broadcasting on Saturday and Sunday, but Monday feels a lot like you're picking up all the breadcrumbs throughout the weekend of what's happening. And we're just going to take Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray and throw them over there. And then the new one that popped up was Kareem Hunt wanting to be traded from the Browns. And Hunt shares duties with Nick Chubb there in Cleveland, and he's scheduled to make 6.2 this year, 6.2 million, 6.2 rocks as a running back by committee with Cleveland, and that's pretty good money. And one of the things that I don't think Hunt gets at the age of 27, with mileage on him, he only played half a season last year, is that even beyond just those facts, is the running back market is drying up. You're just crazy to spend a lot of money for a running back this year, and he wants some kind of new deal. He wants new this, new that. He wants to get paid. Well, no, it's not going to happen. Now, the Browns say they're not going to trade him. Is he a good back? He's a real good back, but you're not going to pay him more than 6 rocks. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to. You can get that click out of somebody else. You know, the Rams won a Super Bowl last year by committee. Name the Kansas City Chief running back outside of Leonard Fournette, who's making 6 to 7, I think, this year. Outside of Leonard Fournette, who was the Buccaneers running back down the stretch, right? Who are these running backs? Who was the New England running back in 2018? Again, they come and they go, and they're interchangeable, and they're very disposable. I think Kareem Hunt would want to stay in Cleveland behind a pretty good offensive line, share duties with Nick Chubb, let his body stay healthier longer, which means his career can be extended, which means he'll make more money instead of getting one big payday. And I'm the Browns. I'm not trading him. I'm waiting till there's a team that's really desperate by midseason before the trade deadline, and then getting all I can get for him, And I'm sorry. It's just, I don't think Kareem Hunt's thinking about this. He's a 27-year-old running back with baggage and mileage. And 27 at running back, and you're making 6 rocks this year. Brother, you got it good, okay? You got it good, and be thankful for what you have. Again, going through what I was seeing on the internet this weekend. You watch different film, different things, and just you're looking for threads and conversations that are popping up. And Bleacher Report had a list of names of veterans that could be cut, from Denzel Mims to Myles Gaskin with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are pretty talent rich right now. Josh Gordon, he gets cut every other year. He's with the Chiefs now. And then, of course, there's Jimmy G and Taylor Rapp. And, unless the 49ers have something really big in the offing that they're going to make another move right now, at this point, I'd almost hang on to Jimmy G, or just deal him, just get rid of him real fast here for a 5th-round pick or a 4th-round pick or something, move him. But if you're not going to do that, keep him, because you don't know what you got in Trey Lance yet. I think one of the funniest things you ever hear about is, they looked really good in camp. I've looked really good in camp. I mean, a lot of people look really good until the lights go on and the heads start knocking, right? I mean, hey, everyone looks really good in camp. Okay, whatever. Jimmy G could get cut. Jimmy G could get traded. But the one that I thought was interesting that was on that list was Taylor Rapp. And we've talked about how the Rams' safety room, not just their DB room, their safety room, with the drafting of Quentin Lake and Russ East, who has looked good in camp, and you got Terrell Burgess, you've got Nick Scott, and you've got Jordan Fuller. Taylor Rapp is in that group is number 6. Well, he's not number 6 in the depth chart, but that means they got 6 guys in that room. That's one man too many. And so Bleacher Report had Taylor Rapp, who's had his problems in coverage, right? We know what you get in Taylor Rapp. He's scheduled to make 2 rocks this year, 2.5 rocks. But if Taylor Rapp was to get cut, his dead cap hit is only $354,000 this year. Not $3 million, not $2.5 million. It's only $354,000. And there's no cap hit, obviously, in 2023 because he's a free agent after this year. And his cap savings, okay, the cap hit, $354 if the Rams cut him. If they cut him, the cap savings is $2.5 million, 2.5 rocks. And you've already got Terrell Burgess, Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott, Quentin Lake, Russ Yeast. Yeah, that's why I've said expect someone to get dealt. And I could see Taylor Rapp getting dealt. His contract's not really crazy out of line. But honestly, what more are we going to get out of Taylor Rapp this year? And another 2.5 rocks to put under the salary cap really helps the Rams as you move towards midseason and you find out what you got and what you need, right? And we're not even talking Odell Beckham. We're talking what you may need midseason. So that's what you call tough luck for Taylor Rapp. You know, got a Super Bowl ring, got engaged on the field, but that is also the business side of the NFL. And I think Bleacher Report's spot on there in terms of this could be it for Taylor Rapp. All right, a couple other things we want to do, some housekeeping here. Birthdays. First of all, Brian Sipe, former Cleveland Browns quarterback, is 73 today. He was an MVP of the NFL in 1980 and is largely forgotten, but you know, he was a San Diego State guy, drafted 13th round in 72, played for Coryell there at San Diego State, spent a couple years in the taxi squad, and he's the guy that pushed Mike Phipps out at Cleveland and led the Browns back to the playoffs in 1980. Now, of course, Raider fans remember that, and Browns fans unfortunately do. But I was always a Brian Sipe guy. And I wondered if Brian Sipe would even get a shot in today's NFL at 6 foot, 150, whatever he was, 185, whatever his size was. But Brian Sipe turns 73 today. And so happy birthday to Brian Sipe. He wasn't a Ram, but he was one of my favorite players growing up. Former Ram center John Sullivan, though, did turn 37 today. And Sullivan played for the Rams from 2017, 2018, and he really stabilized that rebuilt line that came in with Sean McVay and Andrew Whitworth, and that line got established where you had Whitworth at 1 tackle, Sullivan at center, Havenstein at right tackle, and then the guards kind of became interchangeable, if you remember Roger Saffold and them coming in. And so Sullivan played a nice part in that. The Rams signed him to a 2-year deal and after 2017, and they declined his 2019 option. And eventually he just retired because nobody picked him up. But he was drafted 6th round, 187 overall by the Vikings in 2008. He was a starter for them for 6 seasons. He started 31 games for the Rams and the Super Bowl. And when the Rams decided not to pick up his option, it saved him 5 rocks. It saved him 5 big ones, $5 million. And then it was on to Austin Blythe, Brian Allen, Austin Blythe, right? And now 4 years later, the Rams are paying Brian Allen 5 rocks. So in other words, instead of paying $2,018 in 2022, or the Rams are paying $2,018 in 2022, as opposed to what would their center be making right now if he made $5 million in 2018? Think about this. Ryan Jensen is the starting center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? And he's making 13 rocks a year, 3 years, $39 million. He's 31 and he's on the IR. Okay. He's gone for a significant portion of this season. You just don't spend that much money on your center. And the Rams, instead of paying 5 rocks in 2018 for John Sullivan, who obviously was coming at the end of his career, 4 years later are paying that same amount for Brian Allen. Just great business by the Rams. On top of that, Brian Allen will turn 27 in about another month. Ryan Jensen's already 31. John Sullivan, when he finished up with the Rams, was 33. Hey, football is all cruel, but the Rams handle their business really well in terms of who they're going to pay and who they're not going to pay. I remember wanting Sullivan back. And then when you looked at what he was going to cost and what the Rams felt they can do, the development of Austin Blythe, right? And the drafting of Brian Allen, who was horrible, or Brian Allen in 2019. No one liked Brian Allen. He didn't even see the field in 2020, and everyone was sick about it going into last year, and the Rams win a Super Bowl, and the Rams just know how to develop players. So the $5 million they didn't spend in 2018, they spent the $5 million this year, and what a great investment, because a center would cost a whole lot more these days. So cool stuff there. Did you see Daniel Hardy's backflip heading into practice the other day? That was on YouTube. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Some other stuff that popped in here. Dick Vermeil was all classy in his Hall of Fame speech. I still propose that when he handed the Super Bowl trophy to Georgia Frontiere, he knew that he had handled the trophy to the devil herself, and that's why he decided, I got to leave the Rams. That's to me. Let's see what else popped in here. The Rams signed wide receiver Austin Trammell. But folks, he's a camp body. He's just a camp body with Van Jefferson down. Jacob Harris hurt again. Trammell is just a camp body. He's a 5'10", 185 receiver, free agent out of Rice, who spent last season. He was an undrafted free agent with the Falcons last year. And he's coming to camp. And in camp, you got J.J. Koski, Landon Akers, Lance McCutcheon, and an injured Warren Jackson. And those are the guys that are likely headed for the practice squad or unemployment. It's just what it is. Battling in that wide receiver room with Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, of course, an injured Van Jefferson right now, opens a door for Ben Skoranek, who's played well, Tutu Atwell, who's everyone's hearing about. Jacob Harris obviously is hurt. And because he's hurt, that sixth receiver position, the name that is just popping everywhere is Brandon Powell. And, Powell's 5'8", 181. And that is a name that popped up on all kinds of threads this week. And I'm not breaking this story, okay? Now, I made a mention last week that he was getting some offensive snaps, but I'm not breaking any story here. I'm just talking about what I'm seeing online. And they're talking about Brandon Powell is really being incorporated with some touches in this offense. And, of course, his credentials as a return man, they're all amens. But I don't think anyone foresaw this. He's running out of the slot. He's running out of the backfield. And the Rams are just looking for ways to use him. And, of course, the more you could utilize him in the offense, the more valuable he becomes to the roster. And that means he's not just a return man, because every roster spot's a premium, right? And so I thought that was really interesting. And it's not like Brandon Powell has just been a return man. In previous stops in Atlanta and Detroit, going back to 2018, he has 23 career catches and 2 touchdowns. So he has played offense. He's just not, what was the name of the guy back in 2020? Simba Webster or whatever his name was. Yeah, the Rams had some bad returners. So keep Brandon Powell. Again, why do you watch preseason? So you can see guys like Brandon Powell and let him take advantage of his opportunity with Jacob Harris down again, Van Jefferson out. And it'll be interesting because we're not going to see Kupp. We're not going to see Robinson. But I believe in the Rams' first preseason game, we're going to see Skoranek. We're going to see Atwell. We're going to see Brandon Powell, as well as some of these other camp names like Lance McCutcheon, Landon Akers, and, of course, J.J. Koski, who feels like he's been around forever. He's like this generation's Joe Sweet. But I digress. Hey, real quick here, a tangent. As we get closer to the 15-minute mark, one of the tangents that I saw here that was kind of interesting is Cooper Kupp has had 5 seasons in the NFL. He has caught 433 passes for 40 touchdowns. And you think about Rams receivers that had a lot of length with the team. And I'm not really thinking back to Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce because they're post-1978. And again, we talked about that last week, that 1978 was kind of like the breakout of the passing era in the NFL as the rules were relaxed. But Kupp has 433 catches and 40 touchdowns in 5 seasons. In 11 seasons with the Rams, Jack Snow, 65 through 75. Okay, this is Jack Snow, who is iconic, right, for the Rams fans. Anyone that knows the Rams knows Jack Snow. Jack Snow had 340 catches and 45 touchdowns in 11 seasons. And Cooper Kupp has more than matched that in 5 seasons. And, of course, we know it was a different era. To get some perspective on how much the league has changed and how rich our memories are for some Ram fans of players like Jack Snow and others, look at Cooper Kupp is doing and how much the landscape of the NFL has changed. So I thought it would be interesting. Well, what did Harold Jackson do in his time with the Rams? Well, Harold Jackson played with the Rams from 73 through 77. Now, he had a cup of coffee in 68. Rams dealt him to the Eagles for Izzy Lang. George Allen never liked Harold Jackson. It's really interesting that when George Allen came back to the Rams, Harold Jackson was kicked out and sent to New England. But Harold Jackson in 6 seasons with the Rams had 200 catches and 36 touchdowns. I just thought, but our memories just seared into our brain how great Harold Jackson was as longtime Ram fans. And again, Cooper Kupp, right? Just Cooper Kupp, 433 catches in 5 years. That's just fascinating. Another thing I thought was interesting is we loved Harold Jackson as Ram fans. We thought, oh, tiny Harold. He played at 5'10", 175. Tutu Atwell, who my brother termed a smurf as a dwarf when the Rams drafted him, it wasn't very kind. And other people are saying too light to play. Well, Tutu Atwell comes in at 5'9", 165. 1 inch and 10 pounds less than Harold Jackson. And Harold Jackson played in the NFL from 1968 through 1984. And that was a much tougher NFL. And so we have to get over the case of whether or not Atwell's too small. Now, it doesn't mean he needs to be bulked up a little bit. Doesn't mean he needs to be in shape. He needs to be ripped and all those things. Absolutely. He needs to do all that stuff. But just out of hand saying that because of his size, 5'9", 165, he can't play. Well, one of the most iconic Rams in history, Harold Jackson, played at 5'10", 175 in his prime years with the Rams. Just wanted to get that out there. And then lastly, of course, everyone was freaking out about Matthew Stafford and his throwing. Matthew Stafford has been throwing. Okay, it's not like he's been completely shut down. They're monitoring him. They're not overtaxing him, but Matthew Stafford is throwing the ball. It's not like he's been shut down and we'll see what we have on August 31st. No, Matthew Stafford is out there. So even he's complaining sometimes about right now. There's some clips out there again over the weekend, all these little threads. He's saying, hey, I'm going to be fine. And I think the Rams are going to be fine with him. I think it is very clear. Again, like I said, John Wolford is the backup. We'd like to see Bryce Perkins take that job. But I think the Rams feel very comfortable. And I think we don't have to worry about whether or not Matthew Stafford is going to be ready to play. Other things happening, again, things to watch out for as the first preseason game gets close. You got to keep your eyes on, again, the right guard spot, right? Not only are we looking at the wide receivers who's out there, but now we're looking at the right guard spot. And again, Coleman Shelton and Logan Bruss. I have not seen any threads. And again, I was searching for threads. I was searching for conversation. I was searching for pictures on Bobby Evans, and there's just nothing out there. And so I think this is Bobby Evans' last roundup with the Rams. I just got a feeling. Also, again, things to keep an eye on. I doubt very much we're going to see Darrell Henderson. So that means Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson will not be playing this preseason. I can't imagine the Rams playing them. But the one to keep an eye on is Jake Funk and Ray Calais and some of these other running backs that are in camp, again, because will the Rams keep 4 running backs? They drafted Kareem Williams. He's not ready to play yet. He should be in a couple weeks, but they drafted him. He's making the roster. Darrell Henderson's in his last year of his contract, and then you got Cam Akers, who's as close to a feature guy as the Rams have. And those two guys, Akers and Henderson, they're not going to see the field. So it's going to be interesting to see, do the Rams decide to keep 3 running backs or 4 running backs, because every spot's at a premium right now. And so, Jake Funk, who I think is a great, probably special teams guy, but he could be on the bubble if Kareem Williams develops. And then again, if they're running Brandon Powell in the backfield a little bit, a la Debo, boy, that's less snaps even then for a 4th running back, and kind of eliminates the necessity. So anyway, throw that stuff out there. It's the start of the week. I'm Joe Tarosian. You can follow me on Spotify, here on YouTube at Joe T Sports, And just hit like, share. I'm working on my website, joetarosian.com. It's up, but I'm playing with some different themes because I knew I wanted to change some things before the season starts. So I'm in my preseason at joetarosian.com. You can still go there, check out stuff. But just know it's kind of under some little construction there. You can read my books. I pastor a small church in Burbank, but I also supplement my income as a writer. I've written a couple football books, Tangent Dreams and Temple City Company of the Ages. If you want to pick up on those, they're at Amazon, along with some explicitly Christian novels that I've written. Ask me any questions. I'll give you as many answers as I have. Thank you so much for the support, for clicking on. And we will be talking to you tomorrow here on RamView. Okay? God bless. Take care, and we'll see you soon.